for the real estate industry, we see non-GAAP sort of pop to number one in terms of comment letter areas. And I think of late, the focus has really been on adjustments to non-GAAP measures and whether companies are making adjustments that could be considered normal, recurring cash operating expenses, because those adjustments are a no-no.
Joining me today is Angela Storm, partner with KPMG. Angela, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me here, Matt.
Now, I'd like to start by asking you, what's the current status of the SEC's climate risk disclosure final rule, and do you think we should expect to hear something soon?
I think that lots of people are asking that question, Matt. I think on their agenda, official agenda, says April for a release of a final rule. I think most folks that are following this really closely, realistically, though, don't expect to see anything much before summer. So we'll see. There's a lot of sticky stuff going on with this proposal and final rule, so we'll have to sort of be patient, I think.
Great. And could you tell us about what you're seeing in terms of SEC comment letter trends so far this year?
Well, it's interesting. I think the top 10 primarily doesn't change that much in terms of topics. There's some shuffling. But this year we have seen a huge uptick in comments about climate, not surprisingly, mostly as it relates to risk factor disclosures. The staff did put out what they call a Dear Issuer letter about 2 years ago, and they've stayed pretty close to that, asking questions about having companies reconcile the disclosures they might have in a investor supplement or a sustainability report, comparing that to what they have in their SEC filings, and why do you talk about it here and not here? We're seeing some questions about the extent of companies' capital expenditures and other impacts to operations associated with transition risks in climate. So I think that's the biggest sort of new comment, but we're still seeing lots of comments in MD&A. We're still seeing lots of comments in non-GAAP.
And can you give us a flavor for the types of comments you're seeing in the real estate space?
Real estate follows the general trend mostly, but I will tell you for the real estate industry, we see non-GAAP sort of pop to number one in terms of comment letter areas. And I think of late, the focus has really been on adjustments to non-GAAP measures and whether companies are making adjustments that could be considered normal, recurring cash operating expenses, because those adjustments are a no-no for non-GAAP measures. So certainly the staff seems to be narrowly focusing in a lot of cases on those. They've been very public. The staff's been pretty public even since probably going into part of last year, but through the conference in December, that is going to continue to be a focus for them for non-GAAP.
And finally, what are some best practices for how companies should prepare to respond when they do receive a comment letter?
I think the best thing you can do is establish a relationship with your examination team. If you don't understand a comment, if you don't understand how they're expecting you to respond, if you don't, even if you just want to give them some preview of what you're planning to respond with, I think making that connection with the examination team puts you on a lot better footing than just doing the letter writing back and forth. So I would say if you're going to do anything, it's always good to just give them a call and at least establish a little bit of rapport with the examination team.